Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. By the title of this video, you all already know what this video is about. It is Wednesday over the break, and I'm super bummed that it is not nice enough to read outside on the patio. There's still snow on the ground, and apparently it will not warm up anytime soon, so perfect! No outdoors reading for me, but tomorrow I plan to take myself to Starbucks and read, and I think that will get me out of my little winter slump that I'm in. Just kind of recap my physical TBR. This is only probably going to be one of like 3 videos because I have books here, I have books there, I have books upstairs, and I have books in this closet back here. Oh, and don't forget my bookshelf, okay? It is one last stop. I'm about 70 pages into it. So August meets this girl on her commute back and forth to work every morning. She moves to New York for, I believe, for a university, college. You know what? I'm just good. For clinical 23-year-old August moving to New York City is supposed to prove her right. That things like magic and cinematic love stories don't exist. The only smart way to go through life is alone. She can't imagine how waiting at tables at a 24-hour pancake diner and moving in with too many weird roommates could possibly change that. And there's certainly no chance of her subway commute being anything more than a daily trudge through boredom and electrical failures. But then there's this gorgeous girl on the train. Jane, dazzling, charming, mysterious, impossible Jane, with her rough edges, swoopy hair, soft smile, showing up in a leather jacket to save August's morning when she needs it the most. August's subway crush becomes the best part of her day, but pretty soon she discovers there's one problem. Jane doesn't just look like an old school punk rocker. She's literally displaced in time from the 1970s. And August is going to use everything she tried to leave in her own past to help Jane. Maybe it's time to start believing in some things after all. Super magical. Love it, love it, love it. I'm like I said, I'm like page 70. She just moved in with her new roommate. She started her new job. And she has had a few commutes on the train with Jane, which I think is super cool. The last book that I read, and I don't know why I finished it, okay? Don't kill me. I know I was told not to read this book by a certain YouTuber that I trust, and I really need to read this book, and I'm so sorry. Okay? This is a terrible book. I started to read it. I liked it. Then by the middle, I was unsure, and I almost stopped, but then I had to finish it. And I liked it again. And then I didn't like it. I'm so sorry. Bunny by Mona Awad. What did I just read? I read to the end and I'm like, I don't know. I don't really know what... This book was the most random book. It was so weird. It was just really weird, and maybe I missed the point of this entire book, but by the time I finished it, I still didn't really understand what I just read. It's a messed up book, okay? It's... First, I thought Pretty Little Liars at first, sort of, but in a more messed up way. Definitely not even close to Pretty Little Liars, just a very messed up cult and Samantha joins this cult, and they do messed up stuff that has to do with bunnies and boys. What? I don't get it. I finished it because I had to. So I'm going to kind of quickly go through this cart, and then I'm going to read for a bit. So the books that, actually I should show you, I bought 1, 2, 3, okay? I went to the bookstore yesterday and I came out with 2 books. 1 book for me, 1 book for my daughter. So that's pretty good. Okay? And I don't think I'm going to go to a bookstore again for a while. Because I don't need to. I really don't need to. I just like to go and walk around, and that was my break yesterday. So tomorrow will go to Chapters and sit down and read the 5,000 books that I have on my shelf. Okay, they're not really 5,000, but close enough. I got this book yesterday, Grady Hendrix. Okay, so I will read this to you. When Louise finds out that her parents have died, she dreads going home. She doesn't want to leave her daughter with her ex and fly to Charleston. She doesn't want to deal with her family home, stuffed to the rafters with the remnants of her father's academic career and her mother's lifelong obsession with puppets and dolls. Okay, creepy, right? She doesn't want to learn how to live without the 2 people who knew and loved her best in the world. Most of all, she doesn't want to deal with her brother Mark, who never left their hometown, gets fired from one job after another, and resents her success. Unfortunately, she'll need this help to get the house ready for sale, because it will take more than some new paint on the walls and clearing out a lifetime of memories to get this place on the market. Huh. Okay, cool. I actually really want to read this, like, now. Okay? Just because it sounds interesting, and I have this other book, which I'll get to in a minute. I caved, Beyond the Wand, Tom Felton. I love Harry Potter, and I really had to read this book. And I'm still reading Prince Harry's book. So, but I need to break up my books when I read them. I saw someone online post, like, read different genres of book. Read a physical book, one on your Kobo or Kindle, and then do an audiobook. It's not that I'm against audiobooks, but I really don't find them reading for me. Or to teach myself how to read faster, I feel like I have to physically read a book. But lately, I feel like an audiobook would just do the trick for me to just... Because I listened to part of You on audio, and I love it, but I still want to read it, okay? So it's kind of like, I really should just get over that. Audiobooks in my head is kind of not reading, which I know lots of people do have that notion, lots of people don't, and I really just need to listen to an audiobook. Because sometimes I just have to clean. And you can't read an audiobook and clean. You can't read an audiobook and chase around a toddler. Or you can't read a book and chase around a toddler at the same time. So why don't I just cave into the world of audiobooks for when I need to read a book or I need the break. If that makes any sense. Okay. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Because this is a show on Amazon Prime now, I have to get the book, I have to read the book, and I'm going to read the show. This will be a separate video. Daisy Joan and the Six. Take 2! Daisy Joan and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am super excited for this book. It's like an old book set back in like late 60s. A girl named Daisy coming of age. She's like a superstar and her voice gets, or she's like a, so she's dreaming of this singing career at Whiskey a Go-Go, which is a place in LA. Her voice gets noticed. She has kind of heedless beauty that makes people do crazy things. She gets noticed by a band called The Six. And then, yeah. It says, a band led by Billy Dune. On the eve of their first tour, his girlfriend Camila finds out she's pregnant. And with the pressure of fatherhood and fame, Billy goes a little wild on the road. Daisy and Billy cross paths when a producer realizes the key to supercharged success is to put them together. What happens next will become the stuff of a legend. So this will go with, I'll read the book and then I'm going to watch the show on Amazon Prime. So my lovely, one of my many TBR cards. I have, okay, so the books I need to finish by the end of March are, I have to put a thriller in, one by one, Ruth Ware. It's like the avalanche kind of resort in the winter kind of thing. And it is, I've heard very good things about it. The only book I read by Ruth is A Woman in Cabin 10. My March book, okay? I also grabbed, because I was in the mood for romance, and I want to read this book, The Wolf Winnipeg and Me, so bad. This is almost 700 pages. I'm not really sure how much I'll finish. I found this book at the used bookstore and I had to pick it up. It's Mr. Wrong Number. This is also on my March read. But I don't know, I'm kind of not, haven't really been, I'm in the mood for thriller, so I don't really know if I'll get to this one anytime soon. It might be later on. And then finally, because I binge watched the entire series, I got Pretty Little Liars book 1, 2, 3, 4. These should be bingeable within like a read and vlog for myself, at least. Which I will probably do hopefully this week sometime. We will see. Okay? And then I have here all my books that I want to read. So I have My Best Friend's Exorcism by the same guy that wrote How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. And I like this because this reminds me of like Stranger Things, and I bought this to read this in October and I never did. So I better kind of get on this. And I like the old VHS cover, like the whole kind of cover part and like staff pick and like little tidbits on this book, but I love it. And the book I've been trying to get to so many times, and I hear it's so spooky, but I don't know if I want to read it before bed, is Jason Rekulak, Hidden Pictures. So this is about a boy that starts drawing like weird pictures, and his babysitter notices these kind of creepy pictures, and she gets like a backstory to them. And yeah. So he usually draws pictures, trees, rabbits, balloons, and then one day he draws a man in a forest dragging a woman's lifeless body. So it's kind of like, yeah, I really want to read this again. Another good thriller author that I've heard so much about is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. And I believe, if I'm right, I found this book. Okay, this is 2022. Because I really wanted to read one of his books. Like I said, books in Canada are just out of this world pricey. So to find this at the thrift store and pay $6 as opposed to like $25. I lied. This book I grabbed because it looked interesting, and I don't think I've seen any reviews on this book yet. How do you catch a killer if the victim doesn't exist? I've seen no reviews on this book, actually. I lied. So I kind of like to pick up books that I haven't really seen many reviews on also, because I know I can form my own opinion, if that makes sense. I haven't really seen a ton of reviews on How to Sell a Haunted House. They're starting to come out, but I hope to kind of form my own opinion on some of these books as well. I've seen reviews on Alex's North, The Shadows, and Whisper Man. Again, though, thrillers, I found both of these at the thrift store, and I was like super excited to find these. I wish the books that are like half the size of this, like maybe like that, I don't like, because I don't like the writing, I don't like the size of the book. They're called pocketbooks, and now I see why they're called pocketbooks, because they can fit in your typical purse size bag. These really can't. You have to have a pretty big purse. I'm super excited. It's her brand new one, The It Girl by Ruth Ware. I think I might bump this one up and read this one after I read One by One, and then I'm going to read her other books that I do have. Her new one, obviously. This one, A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. This one is a newer one? No, maybe. Let's see. 2021. Okay, so not super new, but again, every time I go to the bookstore, they only have book 1 and book 2. They never have the full series of the Shadowing series anyway.